Update. Am I the a-hole for not dropping the charges against my terminally ill father after he attacked me for wanting to adopt my siblings? Original post. Both parents were abusive. I left home at 16. They later had 4 more kids. The youngest 3 are 8, 6, and 4 months old. My mom died weeks after the baby was born, and my dad quickly married his affair partner. After my mom died, I took care of the kids, visiting 3 times a day and buying their essentials, since they wouldn't even feed them and left them by themselves all the time. I asked for custody of the baby, and my dad agreed verbally, but never signed anything. CPS recently removed all 3 due to abuse and neglect, including my dad's 14-year-old stepson abusing my 8-year-old brother. My dad caught him, and instead of protecting my brother, he beat him brutally. I am fighting for custody, but CPS will not place them with me until I have my own place. I've been working multiple jobs, dog sitting, selling art, etc. to save for an apartment. My dad knows this. Before our next court date, he asked to meet. Instead, he attacked me, left bruises, and told me to stop fighting for custody. While I was with him, my car was broken in 2, 3 windows smashed, and a tire flattened. Police say it may be unrelated, but I believe he did it to put a strain on my finances and delay my move. I pressed charges. Now my stepmother and grandmother want me to drop them because he has BPD and is dying due to a degenerative disease. I told them I hope he dies. I told 2 of my close friends about this, and they both reacted the same way. They said he is my father and he is old, and that once I get the kids, I should cut communication, but drop the charges, as he would not survive in jail even a few months, and asked if I want to have that on my conscience. Am I the a-hole? Right now, I don't think I'll regret it, but I'm not sure if anger is clouding my judgment. Now for the top comments before reading the update. If he's young enough and strong enough to beat you, he is young enough and strong enough to face the consequences of his actions. Press charges. Restraining order. Look to see if there is anything CPS can do to help you get affordable housing. Whatever you do, do not take your car to an arranged location and do not go to an arranged location. Over the internet and recorded is fine. Thanks. What I was told by CPS is to get a place. And if I need help with rent, they'd help me, but not before. Also, if he should die, look into Social Security benefits for your siblings. If he held a job, there should be benefits for them outside of what CPS will help you with. Not the a-hole. He's an abusive pile of turd, BPD or not. He's neglected his kids, neglected a newborn for Pete's sake, rushed into a new marriage before the grass had grown on the grave, and I suspect this is not the first time he's put hands on you. If he won't last in jail, perhaps he shouldn't have been a freaking abusive monster. Perhaps he shouldn't have attacked you. Perhaps he shouldn't have vandalized your car. Your close friends don't understand, because I suspect they have a less damaging or dangerous relationship with their kith and kin. 100% not the a-hole here. He has to face consequences for his actions. You're doing the right thing. You're done, and you are doing a righteous thing in trying to help your siblings. Not the a-hole. Press charges. Get a restraining order. If you can't get your siblings, then keep visiting them if they end up in foster care until you're able. Your dad's an animal. He doesn't deserve pity. Thank you. Doing all I can to get them back. Hurts me so much because the 8-year-old has trouble sleeping due to all the trauma and tells me how much he needs me. Now for the update. Things have gotten messier. I was made aware that my father was let out on bail and he supposedly tried to harm himself. He's still in the hospital. He's supposed to attend anger management classes, but lacks the will to live. He's reportedly super depressed and sorry about his actions, because apparently he can't live without my siblings. My grandma, Dad's mom, left me a few messages saying I was a monster and lacked empathy for a sick man, and that regardless, he was my father and gave me life, so I should respect him and not ruin his life. I was also told it was my fault he harmed himself. Honestly, I don't even think it's true. I was also informed that my grandma will be petitioning for custody and later for adoption of the kids unless I drop the charges. My grandma is as bad as my dad. She has anger issues and has BPD too. I know she doesn't want the kids and will only fight for custody so I can't get them. My aunt, mom's sister, who's currently fostering the kids, has been receiving threatening and stalker-like messages from an unknown sender. We went to the police, but there's not much they can do since we don't know who it is. We told them who we suspect, but they just said to tell the person to stop. It feels like they'll only take it seriously if something actually happens. Initially, she did not want to take in the kids because she said she didn't want the drama and that my father is dangerous and problematic, so she wanted to stay out of it. But I convinced her. She's told me she doesn't want problems or to risk her safety, which I understand. At first, she agreed to look after them until I got the housing situation in order, but now she's saying that if things continue like this, she'll have to let the kids go. Coincidentally, this happens when my grandma suddenly decides she wants the kids too. I asked my lawyer, and he said that if my aunt steps down and I don't have stable housing yet, they'd go to my grandma's. So I'm a bit worried. I need about $1,350 more. With my car getting broken into and bills, I'd say it will take me close to 3 more weeks to get the money. Anyway, thanks for the support. We have an advisory hearing this Thursday, and I know my grandma will be there. I'll update depending on if things get worse. We told them who we suspect, but they just said to tell the person to stop. With stunning advice like this, who needs police protection, right? Police only do something when a corpse appears. And often only if that corpse is white and blonde. It sounds like your grandma is trying to guilt and scare you into giving up, but the fact that your aunt is already receiving threats shows how toxic this whole situation is. Make sure you and your aunt keep records of those messages and push the police if it escalates. You're doing the right thing by fighting for a safer environment for your siblings. They should also report these threats to the social worker overseeing the placement. We have, but the thing is, they are general threats, not really related to the kids. They're more directed toward my aunt, which makes me scared too if CPS decides that my aunt is not a safe place anymore because she has a stalker. The messages from your grandma about trying to leverage you to drop the charges are very relevant to your grandma's suitability. Ask the caseworker if there are any private or charity groups, like St. Vincent de Paul or the Salvation Army, in your area that might be able to help set you and the kids up. Women's shelters or DV groups might also be able to help or advise you. After all, it is domestic violence you're trying to get yourself and the kids away from. I wish you all good luck. Thank you. We'll keep trying. I've called some churches and they can provide a hotel room but not help with getting permanent housing. Also can't get Section 8 if the kids aren't in my custody. So it's a bit complicated. Next story. Am I the a-hole for saying no when my parents expected me to sacrifice for someone else again and saying they take advantage of me being mature? I'm 17 male and a pretty laid-back guy. I was always a good kid and my parents' oldest, so that meant they always treated me more like a mini-adult than one of the kids. There were comments from loads of family members and family friends about me being mature, and so mature for my age is the one I hear all the time, even now. For a while, I didn't mind, because I loved my family and I told myself they really loved me too, and that was all that mattered. But it started to hurt when they always expected me to go without or to give something up. Whenever money's tight, they spend less on me, to make sure they can still spend reasonably on my siblings. Last year, I got a $5 gift card for a candy store, and I was extremely limited in what I could get with that gift card. Another year, they got me sweatpants and a hoodie from the thrift store, and they forgot to make sure it was okay because there were crap stains inside and outside on the sweats. Another money, but not gift, example is when we eat out. My parents like to get us to take turns choosing where we go. Whenever money's tight, they'll let all my siblings have their turn and ask me to skip mine and skip eating out so none of my siblings feel like they missed out by waiting longer to let me have my turn. The other money thing is after-school activities. If my parents want to save money, they ask me to skip for a few weeks so they don't have to pay for me. They never ask my siblings to do the same. Other times they do it is when we're running tight on time when we go somewhere, and my parents will ask to skip where I wanted to go so all my siblings have their chance. This happens when we have other kids with us too, and I'm always last and the first and only to sacrifice, going where I wanted to go. Other times, if there's a clash of events, they'll choose to skip mine to make time for others, be it my siblings, cousins, or someone else in the family. A good example of this is when I was younger, my mom insisted we should all learn an instrument, something she eventually got over with the cost. I was actually pretty decent at piano, so I was in a recital and the teacher was saying how important it was. But one of my siblings was asked to play their instrument for the choir, and my cousin had a football game. This cousin invited us personally, and my aunt, Dad's sister, expressed how important it was that as many show as possible. So Mom went to my sibling's choir, and Dad went to the football game. Nobody went to my recital. Taking turns on picking stuff happens for a few other things, like dinner on Fridays. Unless it's a birthday, then the birthday kid gets the choice regardless of turns, mostly, or where we go / what we do for family bonding time. And just like with ordering takeout, my turn gets skipped if other stuff comes up. If they have friends over, if we get busy, if siblings complain about waiting too long for their turn, or if they want to go somewhere really bad and whine about a different choice. The thing is, nobody ever sacrifices when there's somewhere I really want to go. I told my parents after last year's birthday that it hurt my feelings that it was always me who got less or sacrificed, and nobody ever offered to do that for me. I told them it made me feel like I didn't matter as much. And they were like, "No, you're our most giving and kindest kid, and you're a good son, brother, cousin, and stuff." I brought it up a couple of weeks later and I was hugged and told they loved me. And of course they didn't want me to feel that way. Then I tried a third time after a few more weeks, and my siblings whined over my choice of family time. I told my parents I was starting to think they weren't serious about not wanting me to feel less cared for. I think I tried 3 more times with no results. I talked to my siblings too and got nowhere with them, which wasn't a huge surprise. So last time one of those situations came up where I was expected to be passed over, I said no when my parents asked if that was okay with me. They were so sure of my yes it didn't register with them at first, and then it did, and I was asked why I was being difficult. Why was it such a problem this time? And to remember my siblings are younger. They said I'm so mature so they know I understand, and I said they take advantage of that mature stuff, and I'm tired of feeling hurt when they pass over me all the time. They couldn't believe I'd accuse them of that. But am I wrong? Things have been tense since, and by not taking back my no, I pissed off my whole family, including extended family. Now for the comments. Just stop engaging. Don't go to family bonding events. Don't go out for dinner. Spend your time doing what you want and start giving them back the energy they give you. They're used to you making them feel comfortable in their mistreatment by rolling over. Make it uncomfortable for them. Make them feel guilty. They should. Tell them you're putting yourself first because no one else does. Not the a-hole, and the parents will wonder why OP doesn't go out of his way to help or keep in contact later in life, or put in any real effort. They're already wondering why I'm not rushing to apologize, but I feel like I need to speak up now, or this will just keep happening until I no longer want to talk to or see them again. Do not apologize. You're not being difficult. They just don't like the fact that you're sick of being the doormat. $5, really? That's almost worse than nothing. Even the guy in the store did a double take when he saw the amount on the card. Last story. Am I the a-hole for laughing when my stepmother was crying over my father cheating on her? Pretty recently, my stepmother found out that my father had cheated on her a ton throughout their relationship. He fathered 2 kids with other women since they were married, and they have 4 kids together who are all really young. There were a bunch of tears in the first couple of weeks, and since then the tears have lessened, but the fighting has gotten more intense. Then she invited her sisters over a few days ago. They were talking about it, and she kept asking me, 17 female, to join them, but I ignored her. Then she started crying about how humiliated and disrespected she felt, and how she couldn't believe he was capable of doing that to someone he loves. I laughed, loud enough for my stepmother and her sisters to hear, and they started demanding I come in and take a look at her, and see how easy it would be to laugh then. One of her sisters actually approached me and told me I should be helping my stepmother right now, not laughing. I told her I wasn't going to help someone I never liked or cared about. While one of her sisters was with me, the others were reassuring her that it'd be okay, and stuff like that. But she was getting more upset about the disrespect, and how their love was meant to be perfect, and the most special love of all time. So then her sister dragged me into the room they were in because I was kind of laughing again. She asked me how I could laugh at my stepmother's pain like that. I told them it was because I didn't care if she was in pain, and I thought she was a dumb broad anyway. They were all over me for being cruel and for disrespecting the only mother I ever knew like that. I told them to shut the heck up, and that was exactly why I felt no sympathy for her. I told them I had a mom for 5 years, and as soon as she died, Dad went out and replaced her, and they tried everything to make me replace her too. I said he doesn't care about the women he's married to, and he disrespected my mom long before he disrespected my stepmother. She told me that wasn't fair and that it was different. I asked her how she'd like to die and leave her very young kids without her, and months later they're being told a better mom is coming along. She told me my mom had been a really poor mom too, and that my mom was in no way perfect, and I asked her if she thought she was. And did she ever think he was just a user, and he didn't want to raise me so he bad-mouthed mom to her? Then I told her I might have been a little girl when she came into my life, but I would always despise her for constantly talking like she was better than my real mom. And I said all her talk over the years about their love being special, and the true love was all BS, just like it was when my parents were married. At that point, they started to gang up on me again, and my stepmother started crying again, so I left. But I was smirking, and they were all really pissed off at me because they said I was basically laughing at her again, and it was so cruel. The stuff I said to her I stand by. Even my dad's extended family all said my mom was not who Dad painted her to be. And for a dad so great with a dead wife who did nothing but neglect me, he didn't know anything. He told my stepmother when they met that I was in the 2nd grade. I was 5. He also told her I had no allergies, when I do have allergies. He couldn't name my teacher, my allergist, or the medication I was on to help with some symptoms I got sometimes from my allergies. But maybe laughing at her did make me cruel. It's why I'm asking, am I the a-hole? So your dad told your stepmom that you were neglected by your bio mom, and she believed that. Did she take care of you, feed you, clothe you, etc.? Aside from repeating what your dad said about your bio mom, what exactly did she do to hurt you? Did she say daily, I am so much better than your dead mom? Thank you. I genuinely cannot believe some of the comments here. OP's dad is the a-hole without a doubt, but I can't really find much, if anything, that the stepmom did wrong, other than believe the guy. Everything that the OP says the stepmom did wrong seems to be more something that Dad did wrong. And now this woman, who as far as I can tell did nothing wrong, has had her whole life blown up in front of her, and her stepdaughter is kicking her while she's down and calling her a dumb broad who deserved it. Unless I'm missing something major, OP should be ashamed of herself. She believed Dad even when corrected, by my dad's own extended family no less. Even when faced with the fact he didn't know his own child had allergies, and then talked trash about my mom. They told her Dad was lying and she didn't believe them, or me because, yeah, I corrected her. She didn't even believe them when she knew he knew nothing about me when they met. She believed the guy who didn't know his own daughter had diagnosed allergies.